Hi everyone, we're back with finance, relationship, and Reddit, and today we are having a story from Am I the Asshole? Are we ready?
Let's go.
Okay, am I the asshole for telling all my kids it is my inheritance and not using it to get them out of debt? I have three kids. They all decided to go to expensive colleges. I paid for their books and gave them money for food plans, but tuition was on them. They knew from the beginning that college would be on them. My youngest took some community college classes to save some money. The rest of the kids didn't do much to lower their expenses. They are all out of college and in a whole bunch of debt. My mother passed away and she gave me the house. I'm selling it for around 500K. I plan to use some of it for a big vacation and then the rest to go into my retirement fund. I decided to let the kids have a look at the home first before it went on the market. It's a really nice area and the house is great. They were surprised by the amount and all of them couldn't afford it. I told them I plan to sell it soon. They started ar- they started an argument about how I came into so much money but don't plan to give them any of it. I told them it is my inheritance from my mother. She wanted me to have this. Arguments escalated even more and they wanted me to pay for their school debt. If I did that, it would take three-quarters of my inheritance. So I told them no. I reminded them that when I die, they will have their own inheritance from me, but I'm not dead yet. They are pissed at me, right? What do we think? There's also an edit here. Wait. For everyone asking, why don't I give them their inheritance now? The answer is I'm not dead. I can't sell our home and give them that money since I need to live in it. I can't drain my retirement fund since I need it to retire, which is fair enough point.
Well, I think interesting context to anyone who maybe didn't do the numbers, but if the house is worth 500k and for her to pay off their debt, that would take three-quarters of the house. That is 375k. There's three children, which means they have on average 125k worth of debt each.
Yeah, but one of them, remember, the
And
youngest went to community college,
so you know what?
so she lowered her cost.
Let's say they're 75. That means the other two are 150k. What on earth are they doing?
Dentistry. I don't know.
I mean, look, college is expensive. It is incredibly expensive. But if you're going to go into that much debt, you need to have a plan of how you're getting out. You have got to be doing subjects that have very very well trodden and clear paths to be able to paying off that debt. Otherwise, you're living in fairyland. Simple as that. By the sounds of it, the parent who wrote the post was very, very clear to them about the impact of the debt. Hence why the youngest has actually looks like they've got at least two brain cells and are actually, gone to a community college to make it lower. Fundamentally, look, it's entitlement through and through. There's no easy way to say it. It doesn't regardless of you could do it, you could not do it. Of course you could do it. If you're ever having it that three people or anyone is fighting over somebody else's money who's dead, that says an awful lot about them. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, they're on their own. You need to say to them, this is your money. Your grandparent did not give it to you, they gave it to me. I am looking after it. I am doing it. And at a time when I feel you are holding up to the values that I believe in, then I will maybe give you some of that money. But I am not dead yet, so 100% not the asshole. This is the definition of entitlement through and through. That's my opinion.
I think it's a weird one because they mentioned, we still don't know who they are. They mentioned that their children always knew that this was going to happen, that there would be no college tuition for them. Lots of kids decide, if that's the case, to apply for lots of scholarships, work during the whole time to lower their student debt, go to community college like the youngest one did. There are ways to lower the cost. And another one that people like to go through, this is very popular, is to go into student debt. And the problem with the student debt is that it doesn't really go away for an incredibly long time, because usually, depending on which country you're in, if it's in the States, very expensive.
I blooming hope it's in the States. I mean, if it's 150k in debt and that's the UK, blooming hell. How
So,
long were you in uni for? 12 years?
just some relevant comments, because I think this will help us also decide what's what. Someone said, if your mother wanted them to have the money, she should have put it in her will. You told them they would have to pay for their own tuitions. They are adults. You provided for them when they are children, but they chose to attend their schools and accepted that it would put them in debt, not the asshole. And the OP responds, the debt annoys me. I tried to tell them and get them to go to cheaper colleges, but they didn't. I really tried to get them to go cheaper. Kind of worked for my youngest. Two of them went to private colleges that were around 60K a year. That doesn't include room and board. One of them turned down almost free ride since the college wasn't up to their standards. It was a good state college in our area. I truly don't think it helped them in the long run. The degrees they came out with don't correlate with the debt they got in.
I think that sums it up, right? The key thing here is the fact that they did not follow the values that you were trying to teach them was around debt, about not attaining tons of debt. They decided to say, I know better. I don't care. They've suddenly seen an opportunity where they can solve their previous mistakes. They need to live with their mistakes. If this was a case where they had shown to follow the same values, then I would, if you can afford it, think about giving some of the money. I think there's an interesting case to say, look, if you can prove to me you've paid off all your debt, then I will give you, I don't know, if the bill's 500k. I mean, it comes down to your own financial situation, right? But presuming she's paid well for time, she doesn't need the money and she wants to teach good lessons, say, once you've paid all your debt, I will give you 100k. Because then what you're doing is you're teaching incredibly good value. So I will give you the money for your debt, but you need to pay it off first. Your youngest will do it much faster. They will benefit really quickly. And your older ones will eventually learn. They will get the money. So I think there's an opportunity to put a lesson in here, but you're absolutely not the asshole for holding off. They made big mistakes. They're living with them. They've seen an opportunity to cover up their mistakes, and it's just pure entitlement.
Mm. The youngest is 27, then the middle one's 29, and the eldest is 31. And I think that's old enough to understand the fact that you put yourself in this situation, especially the one who got a full ride. What are you doing? Why? I would have taken a full ride at a slightly less prestigious university.
I can just
Or
imagine your mother dying. You're going to visit the house, really with your kids, really quite emotional times. Probably the first time, or maybe the second time you were in that. And what you end up dealing with is three squabbling children that are full grown adults basically trying to tear apart the house for pure financial gain. I mean, yeah.
you would be the asshole if you had said you would pay for the tuition, then you went back on it after you got the money from the inheritance and said, look, right, the inheritance is mine, and you weren't able to pay for their tuitions anymore or their student debt anymore, then you would be the asshole. Clearly, that's not the situation. So I don't think you are. I think purely from my judgment, from my point of view, you're not the asshole. Yeah, I'm sorry your kids feel entitled to that money, and I hope that your retirement's awesome. 500K is not that bad for retirement.
Yeah. Hyenas tearing apart a corpse.